We mentioned Gonzalez supplying him, right? 12 times, but he was always in the super advanced high and wide positions. So again, a bit like Salah last season, Hamza, where you'd either be on the left touchline or just in the left half space, but really advanced areas. Nothing short. It was always get the ball early and to Doku in a high and wide position. And that position is what has caused us trouble all season, which is the space in between Bradley and Konaté. And I almost wondered whether Pep would say, well, okay, where's Liverpool's biggest weakness defensively this season? It's that channel between Konaté and Bradley. And he's literally just put their most dangerous player, a dangerous dribbler at least, right exactly in that position.
Yeah, and I mean that's literally where the goal comes from. Even though,
we need to do the penalty first as well, of course. Yeah.
Sorry. That is where the penalty comes from. I was thinking the wrong way around. That's when Konaté and Bradley have a mix-up, and Konaté clears into Bradley when the situation has been dealt with. If not for that, I think Liverpool would have gotten away with that little phase of the game without conceding penalty. But yeah, at the same time they were doing this though, right? So Liverpool were trying to deal with Doku, going man to man, and then moving the player over to sort of double up when he progressed into the area. At City, when Salah had the ball, they just tripled up straight away. And Pep mentioned this. He's like, when Salah gets the ball, triple up on him. And it's interesting. There's different ways of defending these sort of players. The risk is though, when let's say Liverpool tripled up on Doku. If you do that, that just means there's two fewer players to deal with Haaland, which is exactly what they want, and that's how they play this season. Teams double up on Haaland or triple up on him, and City go perfect. That just means Foden's free. That just means Shirky's free. That just means Bernardo Silva's free, and they play that way, and they're quite effective at exploiting that and eventually working the ball back to Haaland. For the cutback or the shot, which he gets off and scores. But yeah, it's a difficult thing to do because, like you're saying, when more teams are man to man, and you want to show intensity and you want to match up man to man, how do you still? And you don't want to, and you want a +1 in the back line, so you have a bit of cover. How can you then double up at the same time against their most effective dribbler? It's a good question that Pep poses tactically, and I think as well, you've just got to credit the ability of the player on the day just to execute to such a high level and with such efficiency. You don't usually see him score the goal that he did, but
that's a bonus.
That's
a bonus. But just to conclude the Doku chat, thanks to Dr. Bart's wonderful stats pack, we can see the individual locations of Doku's dribbles, and the blue ones are successful, the reds are fails. But I mean, that's the thing of beauty, isn't it? Really, if you're on a team where your left winger is doing that in just outside the box, inside the box, that's just fantastic.
His dribble and carry on ball value has been like sky high this season.
1.2 in this match. 1 point. No other player had on the. This is on the Huddle stats bomb on ball value. He had 0.9 OBV more than any other player in this match. 1.2. So yeah. So Dr. Bartz, welcome back. Somebody unplugged the Wi-Fi, yeah?
Yeah, which was fun for me. So yeah.
Oh my word.
At least it wasn't while a scraper was running. I've had that before.
I agree with you. That would have been particularly annoying. You know how that works.
Yeah. Anyway, we've done the lineups, and we've started obviously on the game plan there as well. So let's come back and just do that stats pack, because this is a real curate's egg of a stats pack. This one, I think.
Okay, so possession wise, probably not too similar. 50-50 for us, which is fine. Touches very similar. 652 to us, 645 to them. So again, in the same sort of ballpark. Key difference there, which I think you guys started to talk about with Doku, was some of their players. In the penalty box touches, we had 23 to their 30. And that's, if you look at the half splits as well, that starts to tell a bit of the story of the game. They had 22 penalty box touches in the first half to our 7, We had 16 in the second half to their 8. So that kind of showed you a little bit. Phil Till, I mean, if we're being kind to ourselves, it's about 50-50. If you look at the half splits, though, it's 70-30 to City's favour in the first half. And then conversely, it goes to 60-40 or 65-35 to us in the second half. So it starts to become a story of two halves to an extent. Total shots, though, 14-7 total overall. And that difference doesn't really change between the halves. So they outshoot us 63 in the first half. In the second half, they outshoot us 8-4. Shots on target, we didn't get a shot on target till I think it was Dom hit a shot in the second half. So first half,
as well.
0 shots on target. It was a great shot, but it's still shocking that we don't manage a
shot on absolutely.
Target at that point. And then we only get 1 shot on target in the second half. So yeah, for much of a little bit of an improved second half, it still didn't account too much. Big chances 2-1. I believe Cody and probably Mo
Salah.
were the 2 big chances. Yeah. Salah, yeah. And then they had the pen. Big chance with it, yeah. XG reran it because it was slightly adjusted over 24 hours. So we ended up with 0.75. I think originally on the game day we had 0.61. And they had up to us in some models about 0.7 for them, but it comes down to about 0.52 for them. All in all, doesn't really do a great deal. And this is probably the annoying bit, which we can come on to. Created more threat than they did. So we had nearly 2.5 threat to their 1.6. They just converted it at 93%, which is what elite teams do. And then they kept us to a conversion of 30%, which again is what we were doing to teams last season. So that if you take out the penalty, their threat conversion goes down to 44%. So that tells you a little bit of story that the penalty is really important. But still, our ability to turn threat into XG in this game was really poor. 30% is just not really acceptable for an elite side. Possession control minus 86 for us, minus 61 for them. So we've gone back up towards where we were coming nicely down to around the 60s in the last couple of games. That's a poor result for us there. In terms of half split on threat conversion, they are extremely dominant because of the penalty. But then if you take that out, it's only about 11% versus 32% first half. And second half, it kind of goes to 50-50. So can you go to the match summary by game state, please, Bart, and just look at the shows the draw lines? Yeah, because I think these ones are pretty. This was so important. This is what Hamza started off when you dropped off. He started talking about how good City were when the game was level. And so when the game was level, possession is 55-45. Again, that's about this pattern they get of the story. But field tilt is 70-30. Shots 4-1. Shots on target 3-0. Big chances 1-0. If you look at threat conversion, taking out the penalty at drawn state is 64 versus 12. So, or 65 versus 13 if you want to be.
But look at the on ball time, Pats.
Yeah,
the on ball time. We had 9.9 minutes, and City had 18.2 minutes when the game was tied. And that's what Hamza said. In the first 3 minutes, we barely touched the ball.
Yeah, it's a penalty back touch is 12-3 as well in that period of time at drawn state. So, but we know City can do that, right? City over the years under Pep are extremely good at just keeping the ball and just killing you with possession. So it shouldn't be a shock. I think it's just the more we didn't find a way to do anything in that state either. If you look at Monte Carlo, you're gone.
I just want to say the other thing was on the 0-0, we had 0.32 EPV, which was pretty much 50-50 with them. They had 0.38, but only one shot at the 0.04. So again, it's that threat to XG conversion at 0-0. And then at 1-0, which is home lead in here, we had 0.79 EPV and only 0.09 XG. So again, another 12% conversion to XG. So the only time we got into it was when City completely sat off it. When they were 2-0 up.
Yeah. So second half basically is when we finally started to convert at a decent rate. We had spacing behind and they were pushed up higher. But and those are the things that I personally lean into, of saying that I'm not sure we deserve to get anything out of the game because we generally didn't convert our threat position into XG. If you look at probabilities, City, the penalty makes a big chance. It plays a big play in this. Obviously, it's only 6% win rate for City. Draw is 28, and we're about 13% for a win. Probabilities of scores, though, with the adjusted XG, so 1-0 is the most likely score, 18.8 or 18.9. 1-0 is the next highest, and then it goes 2-1 City, 2-0 City as being 13% each around that point. 3-0 is actually just less than 5%. So it's an improbable score, but then us winning the game is also fairly low.
So it was almost, in reality, it was a deserved City win, but probably more. A 1-0 would have probably been the most. 1-0 or a 2.
Yeah, a 1-0 or a 2-1 would have been. Fair in terms of the Monte Carlo.
But it's still a defeat.
It's a defeat.
So because in the game when you've got a Monte Carlo with low shot volume overall, what was it? 18 shots in the match, was it something like that total?
Total shots 14 versus 7. So
21 shots in the total, and then including the pen. Excluding the pen, there was only 1.6 xG excluding the pen. So there's not exactly much to go around there. So so not a 3-0, but still a defeat. I think it's fair to say.
100%. I think we'd be unfair to ourselves on this show if we were to say that Liverpool deserved anything other than defeat in this game.
Yeah, I do want to talk about the disallowed goal though, because I think it is massive. But Hamza. So we've mentioned the pen about 10 times. You've already discussed it a bit. Talk to us about how we get ourselves into such a tangle and end up giving away that penalty.
Yeah. So you've got Doku advancing down the left, and he's 1-on-1 with Bradley at the time. Konaté comes over to cover. He skips past Bradley, then turns, shields the ball, covers it, and at that point you've got a pretty sort of safe ball. It's free, it's loose, but Konaté is the first man to it. He's the closest to it, and he can just clear up the line. But he clears into Bradley, I think, and it spills perfectly for Doku. Bamidashvili comes to close him down. I think the contact is very slight, but I mean he has dived in. Doku's moving quite quickly.
I think it is a pen. It's, because he sort of traps one of his standing legs, so he can't. He was. I've got no beef with that on that, to be honest, Hamza.
Yeah, if there's any problem that people should have with the goal, it's or the penalty. Sorry, it's Liverpool's brainlessness. So Konaté in particular.
Two questions, right? Does Konaté even need to get involved in that with Bradley in there, or can he? First of all, that's the first question. And second question is, why can't he just clear a ball?
I think it's totally normal to get involved in there and clear it. So as in, there's not a yes or no. He has to get involved, or he should never get involved. I think that largely just depends on the situation. And over time, I think defenders as well will understand when, or maybe a defender and a goalkeeper will understand when they want their teammate to intervene and not. And that comes with practice and understanding your teammate and what they like to do and what they don't like to do. Sometimes with goalkeepers, it's really clear, right? Over time, you understand when to duck out the way. For example, when heading, knowing that your goalkeeper is going to come and claim, or when to leave it. Or when to go for it, sorry. Likewise, with these sort of situations, when a defender is screening or shielding the ball from an opponent, over time, you understand when they want you to jump in and when they will deal with it themselves. Often they'll say it, but when it's quick, under pressure, that sort of behavior is practiced and rehearsed over time as you understand each other. So I don't think there's a big deal with Konaté going into clear. Clearing badly is the issue, but that's always a matter of execution, right? And that could be in any facet of football. You have no problem with a footballer doing one particular action in theory, but if they do it badly, then of course you've got a problem with it. And I think Konaté just executed it really badly here into a teammate, which allows Doku to get the second ball and then win the penalty.
Can I sum that up then as what I heard you say there, Hamza? Of he can. It's okay for him to get involved in this. He doesn't have to, but it's okay. But once he does get involved, he needs to be decisive and just deal with the situation.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we had the worst of both worlds. Anyway, but there was a lot of people saying on the Sky Comms how good the save was from Mama. Is it just because was it that good a save, or was it just because it was a Haaland pen that Haaland missed? What did you think?
I think with a lot of these things, it's probably post shot was 0.82.
Yeah.
So that suggests it was a good save. I think it's also
Yeah.
doubled up by the fact that it's Haaland, right? And he's in this kind of imperious form.
Yeah.
He's got no competition this season, so he's just he's a flat track buddy. But no, so I think there's a combination there. I think it was good for Mama to. I think Mama's missed some big moments, right? He needs games to make some saves. He started to do that against Madrid. So penalty save here, I thought was good for him. But I think it's a combination. It's the player, but also 0.82 post shot suggests it was that's a fairly good penalty save, I would suggest.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, let's be fair. I don't think he blamed it. I think he got good pace on it, but he didn't blam it. And it wasn't quite in the corner, but it was close. But he still did really well to get down and cut. But then again, he's 6'6". He's massive. So, and apparently he's got the most penalty saves in the top 5 leagues since the start of last season. So that's one thing about Mama. So So anyway, we have a reprieve, Dr. Bartz. We didn't really change. We didn't really take that in the way that we should have, and then okay, we've not played very well. We've got a complete let off here. We just kind of got stuck in the same. We didn't really go anywhere and didn't try and cash in on that good fortune, did we, Bots?
No, I think it comes back to our inabilities to progress the ball forward effectively this season. I think we get a reprieve, we clear it. It's not long before it's back down the left-hand channel again. It then gets switched across, and the makeshift right back, Mateo Nunes, is in a lot of space and puts a great ball in, as any top flight player should do if they're given a 10-yard box to do so. And then Haaland beats Ibu in the air. Yes, I understand. Hamza was saying they were swapping over at that particular point, but again, Ibu is in the right place at that particular moment to do the job, and he doesn't do the job. And then Haaland scores a really if you watch the replay, it's a really odd header. It's like some sort of ricochet. And City have scored first, which, as we know, as we discussed on the previous 2 pods, or you guys did without me at one point, is scoring first in football is the most important thing, especially when you're playing away from home at the Etihad. So, yeah, I thought we didn't seize the opportunity to build on the fact we just saved the penalty and got let off at all. We just made another series of errors, which ended up in a goal, which I'm not sure we recovered from. But no, I think there's 2 particular instances where we could have dealt with the goal better. Firstly, I think we could have made a better effort to stop the cross. There was no pressure on the crosser. And secondly, I think Ibu should have headed the ball better, or I challenged for the ball better when it came.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Ultimately, it's a deflected goal because it flicks off Ibu into Haaland's face, and then it just literally ricochets into the goal. So, I mean, shit happens. Hamza, obviously, do you want to talk about anything about the things we could have done better right up high at the pitch where City, because ultimately this does come from a very long passage of play from them playing out from their corner flag. Do you think we could have done anything better there?
Yeah, there were moments that we had them under pressure and we were just a bit light in trying to force the turnover. I think we had Nico O'Reilly literally facing the touchline in the defensive sort of like corner. And I think we're a little bit lax in really forcing the turnover. I mean, you take the what was the one where Florian Wirtz squared the ball? Was it Real Madrid where he won the ball from the left back Carreras, right? And then then squared it, and then Szoboszlai the shot. I think it was that match. I think that if we took that level of physicality and conviction from that one and then applied it to that situation there against Man City, I think we probably would have had a ball turnover and maybe a shot from it. I think we're just a little bit loose. We had the presence there, we had the bodies there, but we didn't use the bodies with the intensity that we needed to. There's no point matching up man for man if you're not going to completely jump in and commit man for man. So we're a little bit loose there, and against a really good technical team that they will exploit that, which they did. And I think Bart's just mentioned what I said on the group chat. I thought when they moved from their left side to their right, Van Dijk was doing a little bit of emergency covering defending. So Robertson was inside just to protect the middle, pretty normal. So they swapped over. Van Dijk moved to left back. Play slowed down, but it remained on that right side. So Van Dijk was engaging as a left back. But you could tell that he sort of wanted to get back in the box. And again, just as a fan, you're watching and thinking, there's Haaland in the box. You want your best aerial duelist back in the box with him.
You do.
So you could tell, even as the ball just sort of circulated back towards the middle, you're like, get that swap done nice and quickly because you want Van Dijk in there. The issue is you don't want to rush it as well, because if you sprint over, you're not ready, they'll move it back and all sorts of problems. You want to arrive there in a settled sort of way. Liverpool think they have their moment, but at that point, Robertson and Van Dijk swap, and the ball is then moved immediately back to that right side. So Robertson then needs to engage. Robertson. So I have quite a bit of sympathy for Robertson, but he actually still does have enough time to engage more than he does. So he gets into position after swapping, and then he closes down a bit, but just not enough. And with crosses, as you know, right, as in with goals from crosses, situations like this, the key thing is to stop that cross coming in the first place. He definitely could have done more with just putting pressure on the ball there. Cross is good, and like Bart said with the header,
very good, actually, very good.
Little bit of luck with the header, but as in, if you are getting the header off in the first place, you deserve a bit of luck, right? Because you've done lots of good stuff to get the cross in, or they've made a mistake to allow you to get the cross in. So at that point, fair enough. So yeah, a little bit of unluckiness from Liverpool, but like I said, I think some good luck for City is warranted given all the good stuff they did in the build-up to that, and Liverpool's looseness in closing down Nico Riley and in Matheus Nunes on the right and Nico Riley at left back.
Yeah, it's a shame Sai's not on the pod, because I'd love to have asked him whether he thought in that City transition, after they'd broken out of their defensive third and they were progressing it through the middle third and into our third, could Robbo and Van Dijk both have sprinted more to get back into
the disappointing thing is Liverpool actually get back into their block, right? So Liverpool get into a settled shape. It's not
just
like
two of the players in the wrong positions. That's all. That's the only thing, isn't it? Yeah.
It'd be slightly different if, let's say, Nico O'Reilly plays through the pressure and City immediately counterattack and get their shot off through that transition. Liverpool actually got their players back and into shape. And Van Dijk and Robertson aren't exactly where they should be. Given you've got 10, 11 players back in your defensive third, you should be able to deal with that better.
Yeah, I agree with you, Hamza. I think we had the back four in place and the three in front, at least three players in front, and we still didn't put any meaningful pressure on the crosser. I think that's if you stop the cross, which we did amazingly well through our probably peak Klopp years, you deal with most of the issue. You don't ask your centre halves to head the ball that many times in a game. We seem to have lost that ability at the moment to do that. So yeah, I thought we had enough players about to deal with that.